Hi, I'm Ilja Rautsi. I'm the writer and director of the short film Night of the Living Dicks.
For those who haven't seen Night of the Living Dicks, can you tell us a little bit more about the film?
It's a black and white horror comedy where a woman who's fed up with getting dick pics finds a pair of glasses through which she can see which men are the real dicks, and the dicks are not happy about this.
I'm really interested about the inspirations behind the film because there's many things that go on within it. Individual films such as They Live, cinema of transgression, lots of different horror tropes, lots of different thriller tropes, and of course very modern ideas. Can you talk a little bit more about what inspired you?
The initial idea was to do something about this culture of sexual violence that we live in, and I think horror is a good way to handle something like that, because I'm not interested in realism, but I'm interested in something I've been calling it emotional realism now, where you can actually take something that's a big issue and you can get more behind the emotions behind it and sort of dig deeper, because the horror lets you kind of take it to the extreme and be more true in that sense. And once I had the idea, then it kind of started to meld itself together with because I wanted it to deal with these binary gender roles, and then suddenly I had the idea of a black and white film noir type of thing, and it sort of tied itself together, and yeah.
Did you think it was important with the film to push certain boundaries to be able to talk about some serious issues?
Yeah. I mean, I think horror films should always shock you, but I think I don't want to have cheap shocks, so to speak. I want shocks to come from something real, and then not just have them be there for the sake of shocking, but because the issues behind it are shocking. So maybe the only way to deal with it is by pushing the boundaries a bit, and also, I mean, let's face it, it's fun.
Do you also think that sometimes when you approach something in a different way than maybe expected, you can also talk to maybe a different audience?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you can kind of get past people's boundaries and expectations, and also the thing that I found funny with this film and the previous short horror comedy that I did is that it seems to go well for people who love horror, but it also seems to work for people who never watch horror, or who come up to me and say that they don't really enjoy horror, but they love this, and that's been interesting. It's a nice place to be.
I'd just like to ask a quick question about practicalities. Can you tell us a little bit more about the makeup and the technical aspects to the film?
We had this huge amount of silicone makeup effects for the dickheads, and our makeup designer Salla Yliluopa, she's really brilliant, and she built all the dickheads, and her assistants applied them, and she had this like dick garden that I kept calling it, where she kept sending me pictures and videos in pre-production when we were building them, and then putting it on the guys, which was quite a lot of fun.
You're here in Clermont. Can you tell us about some of the reactions already to the film here, and the fact that the film has already had a long and healthy festival run? Reactions in general?
Yeah, it's been really nice. I mean, it seems to have been embraced quite a lot, and it's what I found is that this doesn't make people laugh so much as the previous one I did, which is interesting. Either it's not as funny, or then it works in a different way because it's a more kind of conceptual movie. But I don't know. It's been doing really well at something like 50 festivals so far, and it was really fun to bring it here, because we initially pitched it 3 years ago at the Euro Connection here in Clermont. And that's the first time I was in Clermont-Ferrand.